I think every year I draw this perfect picture in my mind of what I want the holidays to be like. And then I just get run over with all the to-dos and
Yeah.
all the obligations.
The holiday season should be the time of the year that you get relief from the stress of the
Yes.
rest of the year. We don't even realize it's happening, but it's gone into a
No.
place of causing more stress than it's relieving for us.
Highly sensitive friends since 2018, we've been sharing our journeys together.
And now we're bringing you along for the ride,
Welcome to Highly Sensitive Friends Talking.
where we chat about all things HSP, from daily life scenarios
To exploring spirituality, personal growth.
and all the aha moments in between.
So grab a cozy drink and settle in.
Because this is your space to feel seen, heard, and inspired.
Let's spend some time together.
Okay, here we go.
Ho, ho, ho! Merry Christmas! Okay, it's not Christmas yet, but we're talking about Christmas and the holidays today.
Yes.
And specifically about holiday overwhelm, which is a topic a lot of highly sensitive people, including myself, struggle with. We're just going to share a couple of thoughts on that and how we're dealing with the holiday overwhelm and what we do to kind of get out of that state of overwhelm and into a state of joy instead.
Yes, sounds great.
Yeah, actually, right before we started this podcast, we did a grounding exercise because both of us were just all over the place.
Yeah, very chaotic energy going into this podcast, so it was very fitting for the topic.
Yes, same here. I've been all over the place in the past few weeks just with preparing for the holidays. I'm going to Norway to visit my family, so I still needed to do some gift shopping and also do gift shopping for my family here. And in the Netherlands, they celebrate kind of second Christmas on December 5th. So it's like two Christmas celebrations. It's just like a lot going on. So, so this topic is very fitting for me.
For me, and maybe I'll have a different flavor to bring to this podcast episode because I feel less social event planning organization overwhelm and more of kind of the emotional overwhelm of the holiday season, that kind of thing.
Can you elaborate on that? Because I'm not sure what you mean.
Sort of more of the emotional aspects of dealing with the holiday season and maybe not having it the way that you want it to be because I haven't been able to, for the past several years, really do a lot of holiday shopping because my family has just been under financial stress, so it hasn't been like a big budget. And I also, at the moment, have a very, very small family, and most of my friends are doing things with their family. So it's really just my mom and I. In previous years, the person that I was dating was not very enthusiastic about holidays, and I lived far apart from my mom. So I feel like I've spent several years kind of not really having the holiday season feel the way that I have wanted it to feel or do the things that I've, wanted to do. So again, I think it's good to talk about both of these types of things because I think that there's all kinds of challenges that come in with the holidays. And it is kind of a bummer because I think that the whole point of the holidays is to enjoy this time and relax and have fun and be with people you love. And it sucks that I feel like for a lot of people, especially HSPs that get overwhelmed, it turns into this thing that's far away from the purpose of what the soul of the holiday season is meant to be, right?
I agree. I think every year I draw this perfect picture in my mind of what I want the holidays to be like. And then I just get run over with all the to-dos and all the obligations. And I kind of forget to be in the moment and really enjoy and take the time to just be present.
Yeah.
And so I can totally relate to that. But in terms of this year, I also think you have a wonderful opportunity to reinvent your holiday season and kind of start new traditions, which is also really exciting.
Yeah, and I think that we can get caught up on, like you were saying, picturing it going a certain way and then it not ending up the way you were imagining it. And, obviously Christmas isn't just about gift giving. And it's not just about spending money and doing all these elaborate things. There's plenty of other ways that you can get in the spirit of the holiday season. And one of the things that I really love that I'll always remember is that one of my old college friends, I remember her telling me that her and her family all took the 5 love languages quiz so that during the holiday season, they knew in what way each family member actually wanted to receive love. So some people would receive gifts, other people would receive maybe something really nice written about them, just to go with quality time, gift giving, acts of service, words of affirmation, and physical touch. So that like everybody received the love that they wanted to feel that holiday season through their love language. So I was like, that's amazing, because not everybody wants a gift necessarily too. Like some people that's really important and other people it's not. So,
I really love that idea, but I also think there are so many families out there that are not open-minded to this idea.
Yeah.
I don't know if I would introduce this to my family, if they would be open to it, but something that we do in my family is we write poems for each other with a review of the past year. So where we talk about everything a person has experienced in the past year, and also what we appreciate about them. And yeah, it's really nice to give it along with the present. So we do it always together with a present, but obviously it's also possible to do it without giving a gift. And the poem itself is already a wonderful thing to receive from somebody. Yeah, I think it's really nice to be able to invent a new kind of tradition for yourself. Yeah, my husband and I, we always used to go either to my parents or his parents, but in the past years we've also been celebrating more at home. And I really enjoyed being able to create our own perfect Christmas together, you know, where we just think about what food do we enjoy and how do we want to spend the day and what do we want to do, and it's just really fun. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for you to make it a fun Christmas.
And I think that I've had, you know, I mean, I'll share this a little bit too, because maybe someone out there will resonate or relate to it. But growing up, I celebrated Hanukkah and Christmas because I have one side of the family that's Jewish and the other side of the family that's Christmas. Or that's... That's Christian.
That's Christian, yeah.
So I grew up celebrating both holidays, and it was always the whole month of December was family stuff going on all the time, all these different types of holidays, right? And then when my parents actually got divorced when I was 18, which was also happened to be the year that I went to college, I ended up living with my mom where she was living when I was at school, and then coming home to my hometown at my dad's house for the holiday season to see my old high school friends. And because my mom was the more holiday festive one and my dad really wasn't, it was like all of a sudden at the age of 18, suddenly I had no holiday season anymore, like very abruptly. And then after that, and then trying to celebrate it a little bit on my own, and then being with a partner that wasn't really super into the holidays, and then not really having enough money to like do the normal big tree and all the gifts and decorations. It was a really hard experience to go through that, but also it kind of helped me over the course of time really evaluate what is it about the holiday season that it was so special and important to me, and really dig in there and figure that out for myself. And I think that going forward in the future, as I rebuild my life and hopefully find a new partner someday that is excited about the holidays, has a family that really likes to celebrate, or we'll create a family together and have our own traditions, I think it's a very good reevaluation of what is it that I really want this season to be about, and how can I create that in whatever ways that I have access to. Because I kept telling myself, there'll be another holiday season, there'll be more Christmases, there'll be more New Year's or whatever. And that was kind of my way of dealing with the pain of it not looking like the memories I had wanted it to look like through these years. And after doing that for almost, 10, 15 years, I'm just like, I am sick of telling myself that. I kind of got to a place where I was like, whether or not I have anyone to celebrate with or even any money or do anything, I'm going to figure out a way to make this fun for myself. I'm going to find little ways to be able to bring in those traditions and that spirit in the way that I feel like I can. Exactly. And to me, it's just the cozy, warm, loving, almost like intimate vibes. That's the part that I love about the holidays. It's like an excuse to just snuggle up with your loved ones and just spend time together and be cuddly and cozy. I don't know.
I totally agree. I think it's all about this intimate vibe, but also at the end of the year, I always take a few weeks off because I just love the introspection that the post-holidays bring with them, where you just reflect on the past year, look forward to the next year, and you're just in this kind of weird void between Christmas and New Year. Where you're just floating. And it's, I don't know, I sound like I'm high, but I'm not.
No.
It's just a lovely space to be in as an HSP, where you get to
you finally get that like everything. Distance from everything else, like space to breathe, right? Yeah.
Exactly, because the New Year still feels far away with all its obligations, but you've closed off everything from the past year. It's just this wonderful space of peace. And I think that's something that you can do a lot with as well in your situation, this kind of introspection, and really embrace that.
Right. It's almost like the window of time to slow down and really be with the things that really matter to you, and sit with yourself and the things that you may have not had time to process the whole year that you've been so busy otherwise,
Exactly. My yoga teacher, she has a wonderful tradition that she started, I think, last year, and she's doing it every year now with her clients. And it's called 12 Nights of Christmas, and it starts on Christmas Day. I don't know if you've heard about it, but it's just from then on into the new year. And she just has these 12 prompts that really motivate you to reflect and let go and look forward and tune into yourself, become self-aware. And I really love that, the fact that you just have this kind of practice that you can use as a highly sensitive person to go out of the holidays, because I think a lot of us are struggling with holiday blues as well after the holidays are over, because it's just such a big anticipation,
Right, and then you have to go through the rest of the cold season without all the fun stuff happening.
Yes, exactly. So having a nice tradition out of the holidays to lead you into the new year and into this new energy, I think it's really nice.
Yeah. What are the things that you do? We've talked about the consolidation of the holiday event, and then there's afterwards till New Year's. What do you do leading up to Christmas is like absolutely chaotic. So I don't know if you have any tips for anybody, or what you do, or maybe you're seeking advice.
Yes, I do have great tips, which I do practice, not consistently, but whenever I feel that sense of overwhelm in me, there are some techniques that I like to use. And I think one of the things that I discovered this year for myself, which I didn't in past years because I always was a bit traditional, is online shopping. And I know I'm late to the party. A lot of people already do it, but I always try to support the local businesses by going into the city. But I just couldn't find myself to do it this year. It's just so busy, so many people, and it's too overwhelming. So I figured, okay, this year I'm just going to do all my Christmas shopping online and make a list. So if I have one store, then I try to buy as many gifts there, so I don't have a lot of pollution, because obviously I want to still be aware of that, But yeah, that was one thing that really helped me to slow down, to not have the holiday shopping be a physical thing, but more of just a mental activity, one night of just doing the shopping and then letting go. And also something that saved me a lot of financial stress is that my husband and I, every month, we save just $20 each for the holiday season, because it's something that has been so stressful for us so many times that we suddenly wanted to gift everybody nice gifts, but at the same time not drain our bank accounts. Putting aside a small amount each month for the past year has given us more of a space to now be able to let go of the financial stress a bit more. That way you don't go into the new year with bad finances. And that was also something that I find that I'm going to keep doing in order to have less stress. And also that's just material side of it, because I know that some highly sensitive people listening in might experience that stress, and that's what has been helping me a lot. But besides that, there are also some other activities that are related to the holidays that have been on my mind a lot. I also have a few people who have birthdays in December, so that comes on top of that. And also booking your tickets to go on to your family. And getting a dog daycare while you're going away. You can hear it. There's a lot of these small to-dos that's just like
so much. I mean, even getting your work to a place where you can leave it for the holidays is its own thing, right?
Exactly. I know it's a luxury problem, because I'm so blessed that I get to go to see my family, and I'm so blessed that I have the means to get dog daycare when I do that. So I definitely don't want to sound like a spoiled brat, but
no, you don't. And I feel like it's stressful no matter what tier of income or luxury or whatever you have. It's stressful in all kinds of ways.
Just to give a little bit background information for those who are listening in for the first time, I do have 2 businesses. I do have a house that I'm currently renovating, and those 3 things already ask a lot of my time, which is why the extra things on top of that just can feel very overwhelming. If I would have one job and if I would live in a house that is finished, I probably would talk very differently. But I can imagine that there are a lot of people out there who are juggling a lot of balls at the same time. And then holiday overwhelm very easily can become a thing that you struggle with. And you might feel like, oh my God, I'm so privileged. Oh my God, I shouldn't be complaining. But it's totally valid to.
I mean, it's so much planning. There's just so much time and effort. It's not even about being ungrateful that it's stressful. There's just a lot of things to do to make all of that happen. And I do think it is kind of a bummer, because the holiday season should be the time of the year that you get relief from the stress of the rest of the year. There's good intentions behind it because we want all the holidays to be so incredible. We tilt into this aspect of the holidays where we push it so far, we don't even realize it's happening, but it's gone into a place of causing more stress than it's relieving for us, which is like backwards. I can't really speak to this too much because I haven't had the chaotic planning aspect of the holiday season for a long time. But I do think that, I guess this is just me as a coach talking, because this is going to sound very coachy. If you can evaluate the things that you're doing and figure out whether or not it's actually helping you move towards the goal of feeling that connection with your loved ones, feeling that stress relief, feeling that warm, fuzzy vibe of the holiday season, if whatever it is that you're spending your time doing, even if it's stressful, is moving you towards that goal, then I think it's good. You're on the right track, even if it's, all right, I got to deal with some extra things right now, whatever it is, what it is, because it'll be worth it once it's all done and it's Christmas morning and there's presents and everyone's together. But if you notice yourself in the midst of all the chaos and realize that something that you're spending your time doing is not actually bringing you closer to that goal, but it's bringing you farther away from the goal of feeling connected and stress relief and happiness and joy. Maybe you're doing something for an office party that you feel obligated to do, but you don't really have to do. That's not really something that's bringing you joy. You just feel like you should because it's your job or that type of stuff. Yes. Maybe there's something that your spouse's family is really pressuring you to do because it's their tradition, but you don't really resonate with it. Stuff like that, where maybe there's a little bit of a reevaluation that we can do when things do get too much during the holiday season, to think, is this project or thing that I'm planning or putting all this time or energy or money or effort into really bringing me towards the goal of what I really wanted this season to be about in the first place? Because I think too, that maybe we grew up with certain traditions, or our family has certain traditions that they're pressuring us to continue, or like these types of things that we end up doing without really knowing why we're doing them. You know, what I was touching on at the beginning of this episode of reevaluating what about the holiday season I really even care about. What is it that I feel like I want to have and recreate for myself? Because I think maybe if we don't ever do that reevaluation period throughout the course of our lives celebrating the holiday season, we might just year in and year out do all of these stressful things and pack our schedule so intensely. And at the end of it all, be like, that was so chaotic and it didn't need to be, or, you know, stuff like that, where maybe if we can all get in touch with the bare bones of why it is we even care about the holiday season, and then figure out whether the things that we're doing are actually bringing us towards that or farther away from that. And that would be maybe a way to minimize all the things.
Yes. Yeah, you know, I think even doing a little brain dump, I don't know if we call it like that in English, but doing a little brain dump where you just take everything that's on your mind right now and put it down on paper, just to gain an overview of everything you're doing, everything you're thinking about. And then from there, reflect on what you're saying, that what sparks joy in me, what brings me towards the desired end goal, and what is just weighing heavily on me. I think that's already also a really powerful thing to do when you're just feeling a sense of overwhelm. I've recently done one myself where I just was so overloaded with information, and we as HSPs tend to do that because we think a lot and we think deeply. Then it can be really helpful to do this brain dump just to gain perspective on what your mind is busy with at the moment, and from there kind of resort your tasks. I sometimes even make a planning, you know, where I just use everything I've written down and put it into a schedule, just so I know, okay, I don't have to think about this now. This is something I'm going to think about on that day, a week from now. So then you can kind of park things that lay in the future and don't necessarily have to be dealt with right now.
Yeah, we have a limited amount of mental capacity in general as human beings with the bombardment of information that we're exposed to every single day. But then as HSPs, trying to protect our mental energy. So I think that something that was super helpful for me is writing things down. Maybe for people that don't have a habit of writing things down, they think, well, what's the big deal? It's already bouncing around in my mind. Why would it be helpful to have it on paper? But then when you actually get it out of your brain and onto something that's not your brain, it does. It genuinely like clears up the space, and you feel less stressed because it's not like you're using mental brain power to try to remind yourself of it every 20 minutes. You know, so you don't forget it.
Yes, exactly.
And you don't always know what you're doing or spending your time doing or prioritizing until you can see it on paper and look at it more objectively and think, wait a minute, all of these things that I'm doing, which ones of these are actually the priority here, and why am I spending so much of my time doing this thing that's not really helping me get towards a goal? This could be any type of overwhelm, not just holiday overwhelm.
Exactly. I think dealing with the mental clutter is the first step to going into the holiday season more relaxed. And just before we started our podcast, we did a grounding exercise just to really ground back into our bodies and start the podcast with a good energy. And I think that's also something that's really good during the holiday season when you're spending time with family that might trigger old wounds, and that kind of stuff. And it's really good to just ground yourself, anchor yourself, like you were saying,
Yeah.
Also, in terms of self-care, it's something that we easily forget. But if you schedule it, put on a timer or something in your phone during the holidays, just to remind yourself, okay, breathe. I think we talked about that in one of our past podcasts, that breathing is so good. Just take a moment to breathe when when that relative is triggering you, just breathe in, breathe out. And it can be so helpful to ground your energy in that moment. And scheduling these moments of peace can really help to reduce the overwhelm as well.
Yeah, I think that we can also get overwhelmed in good ways too. Let's say you're in a situation in the holiday season where you do have a large family or a large friend group and it's really fun and you're having a great time. You can still be overwhelmed by that. Speaking about my experience with my ex, he had a very large family and a very large friend group. And sometimes we would be doing celebrations or someone's birthday or something, and we'd be having a great time. But there was still times that I had recognized in myself, even though it was so much fun, maybe every hour and a half, 2 hours, remove myself and go use the restroom and just let I always call it a cue, Q-U-E, that type of cue, where I feel as a highly sensitive person that there's all these experiences lining up in my queue to be processed. And sometimes I have to give myself the opportunity for my system to catch up with all the processing before I can go introduce new experiences for my systems to process. So sometimes I feel like I hope that made sense, because I've tried to explain that to non-HSPs before and they're like, what are you talking about?
No, I totally get it, because sometimes it's just so much that you kind of don't have the time to process it all as deep as you'd like.
Right. And the more that you go without processing all those things waiting in the queue to get processed, the less present you are. If I reflect back on those big family gatherings, even when I'm having a great time, I would notice myself, all of a sudden I would sit back and my eyes would kind of glaze over. Even though I'm enjoying myself, my system is still like, there's so many conversations I just had. There's music and people talking and all these smells from people making beautiful, yummy food, even the good stuff.
Yes.
It's like, you just need to allow yourself, I think, sometimes to catch up. To let your brain and your body catch up to your time, even just going and sitting in the bathroom and plugging your ears and just taking a few deep breaths. Sometimes that's all I would need. And then I would go back out and be like, all right, let's get into the next board game, and have a good time.
Yeah, true. So, I really love that you take these short breaks in between throughout your day, but I think also at the end of your day, just doing a little gratitude exercise to reflect on everything you've processed that day and take that with you. That also is so recharging for the days after the holidays, I think.
Yeah,
I think holiday overwhelm is a theme that a lot of highly sensitive people struggle with, and I'm also really curious to hear about the experience from our listeners who are listening or watching right now. How are you guys dealing with the holiday stress? Feel free to share your stories with us. Feel free to share what you're looking forward to or what you're not looking forward to, and just share some stories with each other.
If there's any traditions that you have come up with on your own that you feel like are very HSP friendly that you think other HSPs might enjoy, you can also share those in the comments too. That would be fun, especially for someone like me who's reinventing the whole holiday season.
Yes, I love that. So thank you so much for listening in. And next time we'll talk about the lessons we've learned throughout 2024 and what we'll take with us into the new year.
And happy holidays, everybody!
Happy holidays! Bye-bye! Bye. Thank you for tuning in. Would you like us to talk about a specific topic in our podcast? Make sure to comment and we'll keep it in mind for the future.
And if you enjoy what we're doing here, we'd love for you to like and share this episode so that our podcast reaches other HSPs who can enjoy it as well.
While you're already here, don't forget to check out our additional resources for HSPs and empaths.
And Catherine has her own blog site and has created an online membership for HSPs and empaths with featured experts on relevant personal growth topics every month.
And Tiara has her own YouTube channel and has also built a step-by-step online program for HSPs on the journey to thriving in their health, relationships, and career.
All of our links are in the description. See you on the next episode.
my hat will just suddenly like shift.
Yeah.
We'll just see who notices my hat just suddenly move.
Oh yeah.
I have one whole side of the family that's just Christmas embodied.
That's me.
You're just the spirit of Christmas all year round. What was I even saying? I have no idea which side, so let's just do both. The recording is like right here. Like it's not gonna get this stuff.
Okay.
So like I think we should just go like
okay.
And then do the other side just in case.
You can edit both of us, right? I feel like this Zen master.
We're like little mime people, right? Oh my gosh, I don't know what we're doing.
I love it.